Good morning everyone. We will start with the chapter Variational Calculus and Minimization Problem. In this chapter, we will see that one problem can be expressed in three different forms. One is differential equation with boundary condition, another one is variational statement, and another one is minimization problem, where we will minimize some physical quantity. We will see how one form of problem definition can be obtained from the other form. This variational statement is the basic of finite element method. From this variational statement or weak form, we develop the further theory of finite element method. Let us start with our ordinary calculus, where some function f x can be expressed as in Taylor series in this form. Now, suppose we draw a function which is minimum at a certain point A. Now, we know from our ordinary calculus that at this point df dx, the first order derivative, is 0, and also the second order derivative has to be greater than equal to 0. So, if you see in the Taylor series, the higher order term that approximately goes to 0 in the vicinity of point A. So, the first term is 0, and because the second term is greater than 0, so f x is greater than f a. Hence, at x equal to a, the function is minimum. This is the relation between this explanation with Taylor series and the graphs. So, this is our f x. Now, similarly, if the first order derivative is 0 and this is less than 0, then this quantity is 0, this second quantity is negative, and all higher order term we can neglect in the close vicinity of x equal to a. Hence, the function f a, that is at point A, is greater than f x for the point close to A. Hence, f x is maximum at x equal to A. So, this first derivative equal to 0 is the necessary condition to be extremum, and the second derivative, if it is greater than 0, then that is the sufficient condition for f x to be minimum, and if it is less than 0, then that is the sufficient condition for f x to be maximum at x equal to a. This is all about our ordinary calculus, which we already know. Now, in variational calculus, we come across a new quantity which is called functional. Now, what is functional? In ordinary calculus, the function is only dependent on the independent variable x. Sometime in physics, it can happen that some function is dependent on another function. We can write some very simple form, for example, that is I x1 to x2. Now, this is a quantity which is dependent on independent variable x and also a dependent variable y and its derivative y prime, where y is also function of x. Such quantity which is dependent on independent variable as well as on dependent variables are called functional. In nutshell, we can say a functional is nothing but a function of functions. Let me explain this concept of functional with one example, that is Brachistochrone problem. Suppose we want to go from point 1 to point 2 with any path under the action of gravity, and we set our origin at point 1. Now, under the action of gravity, if the point pass about a depth y, then its velocity v is root over 2 g y. Now, when the particle travel a certain distance, differential distance ds, then the time is ds by v. Now, the total time to travel from point 1 to point 2 can be obtained by integrating from x1 to x2. This is our total time. Now, ds can be written as and our v is root over 2 g y. Now, we can write this as now we want to find the path. There are several paths possible between point 1 and point 2. It can be straight line also. Now, the straight line between point 1 and point 2 is the path which has minimum distance. We want to find a path for which it takes the minimum time. So, we want to find y x such that it minimize over y this functional t So, here you can see this functional is dependent on y as well as y prime, where both are function of x. In the next section, we will learn about first variation of a functional. So, one functional can be written as this, and also y is known at x1 and x2. Let this y x be the optimal path. which is the solid line. So, this is our y x. Let there are varied path which we denote by y tilde x, which is y x plus epsilon eta x. Now, we know the value of y at x 1 and x 2. So, for point x 1 and x 2, your variation is 0 because y is known, and for other point we are defining different varied path eta x, and we can get the varied y, that is y tilde, with this expression. Then the varied functional for different y tilde can be written as now we have our original functional I at epsilon equal to 0. Now, if we expand this I tilde about epsilon equal to 0 in Taylor series, so I tilde to be extreme at epsilon equal to 0, that is I to be extremum. The necessary condition is the first variation, that is should be 0. So, this is called first variation of a functional. One important thing to note is that choice of eta x is arbitrary. The only thing that eta x should satisfy, that is this 2, at this 2 point it should be 0, because y is specified at this 2 point. Now, if you see that I tilde is dependent on x, y tilde and y tilde prime. Hence, this first variation can be written using chain rule in following form. Because it is dependent on y tilde and y tilde prime. Now, we know that y tilde is nothing but y plus epsilon eta. So, if we use this relation here, we can write Now at epsilon equal to 0, y tilde is nothing but y. Now the necessary condition is this first variation has to be equal to 0, and we have arbitrary eta x, that is we can choose any eta x. It should satisfy that at x1 and x2 it should be 0, because y is specified at x1 and x2. So, this term we can do integration by parts. So, we can club the domain term as now on boundary, because eta is 0 at x1 and x2 as our function y is prescribed there. So, this will be 0, the boundary term will be 0. So, this equal to 0. This is for any arbitrary eta x. Now, using this arbitrariness, because it is true for any eta x, we can write this equation is called Euler-Lagrange equation. Thus, we have started with this minimization problem, and we finish with this differential equation, which is Euler-Lagrange equation. This is also called the strong form. Now, this differential equation is valid for all point x between x1 and x2. Now, regarding boundary conditions, we have started with that y is prescribed at x1 and x2. This kind of boundary conditions are called Dirichlet boundary condition. Now, if you see the boundary term here, there is another possible boundary condition is del f del y prime is known at x1 or x2. Now, if it is non-zero, then this boundary term will have some non-zero contribution. This type of boundary condition are called Neumann boundary condition. Thus, to summarize, for a given functional, we can expand in Taylor series. The first order derivative of the functional is called first variation of that functional. Now, for I tilde to be extremum, this first variation should be 0, and because the functional is dependent on y and y prime, hence this first variation can be expanded using chain rule, and where y tilde is y plus epsilon eta. Therefore, we can write this as eta and this as eta prime, and this entire derivation is for any arbitrary eta. There is no particular choice of eta. The only condition eta should satisfy, that at x1 and x2 it should be 0. Now, therefore, this is true for all eta x. Now, because at epsilon equal to 0 it become y and y prime. After that, we do integration by parts of this second term, and because eta is 0 at x1 and x2, this term goes to 0, and finally, we have this expression for any arbitrary eta. Because of arbitrary eta, we can write this as equal to 0, which is the Euler-Lagrange equation, and this is the differential equation which describe the same problem as minimizing this functional. And also there are two type of boundary condition, Dirichlet and Neumann. Now, we will see variation of a functional that can be expressed using delta operator. So, the functional I tilde, that is the varied functional, we can write as y plus delta y. This delta y is nothing but variation of y. Now, this is the variation of the functional that should be equal to 0 for I tilde to be extremum. Now, this delta f can be written as this expression using the chain rule, because f is dependent on y and y prime. Now, delta y is variation of y and it is variation of y prime. Then this second term can be written using integration by parts. So, this is the boundary term. Now, we can combine the domain term and the boundary term. Now, if y is prescribed at x1 or x2, then delta y is 0, that is the Dirichlet boundary condition. The other boundary condition can be del f del y prime, that is Neumann boundary condition. Now, all this are for any arbitrary variation, that is arbitrary delta y. Using this arbitrariness, we can write this equation to be 0. So, this is the Euler-Lagrange equation. Here we use this delta operator to derive this Euler-Lagrange equation. Now, we will apply this concept of first variation and Euler-Lagrange equation to our previous problem, that is Brachistochrone problem, where we have to minimize this functional. So, you can see this is function of y and y prime. Now, this is our Euler-Lagrange equation, which we have derived taking first variation of this functional to be 0. Now, if you substitute with this function f in this equation, you will get this expression, and with further simplification the differential equation become y double prime minus 1 plus y prime square by 2y. So, this is the differential equation which y has to satisfy at every point x. Now, just an extension, we are showing how to solve this differential equation. We can do this substitution, y prime equal to u, then we have this simplified y double prime is this. Now, if you replace this here, then we have this expression. Now, if you do further substitution, then equation 3 is this, and if you solve it, then y z is equal to C1, we replace z by 1 plus u square and u by y prime. Hence, we can write this as y prime equal to this expression, that is dy dx. With further integration we get this. Now, here we can substitute using parametric expression as y equal to C1 sin square t by 2. If you do this substitution, and if you can write also dy as a expression of dt. After that, if you do the integration, you have this form of x. Now, this constant can be found, as you remember, we have chosen our origin at starting point, that is when x equal to 0, y equal to 0, and that is at starting, that is t equal to 0. So, from that condition we can find that c equal to 0. So, then we have y equal to this and x equal to C1 by 2 1 minus sin t. So, this is the equation of cycloid. Hence, this is the path which the particle, if traverse, it takes the minimum time. So, this is the solution of Brachistochrone problem. Now, we will see how to minimize a functional which is function of several dependent variables. Here, if you see that functional I is dependent on n dependent variable y1 to yn and their first order derivative. Y1 to yn all are function of independent variable x. We want to minimize this functional. So, variation of this functional is 0. Now, we can use chain rule to write this variation of x in terms of several dependent variable. The similar way up to yn. Also, we have to consider the variation of their first order derivative. Now, using arbitrariness of variation, we can choose delta y2 to delta yn equal to 0, and we use arbitrariness of delta y1. Then we can write this as now we can do integration by parts for this second term. Now, we can combine domain terms. this boundary term will be decided based on essential and natural boundary condition on y1 and we can use arbitrariness of delta y1 . Now, this expression is true for all choice of delta y1, hence we can write this equation. Now, similarly we can make other variation 0 other than delta y2, and in the similar way we can write this differential equation with respect to y2. In this way, for various choice of delta y1 to delta yn, we have n differential equation. So, in general we have for ith dependent variable where I equal to 1 to n. So, this is Euler-Lagrange equation for ith dependent variable. And we have in the similar way boundary condition for ith term so either yi will be prescribed at x1 or x2, then delta yi will be 0, that is essential boundary condition, or del f del yi prime will be prescribed at x1 or x2, that is natural boundary condition. So, for n dependent variable we have n differential equation, that is n Euler-Lagrange equation. We will understand this concept of several dependent variable using one example. There are two mass connected by 3 spring. Mass 1 has displacement x1, mass 2 has displacement x2. We want to find the governing differential equation for the motion of this 2 degree of freedom system. Here we will use Hamiltonian principle. When some particles are in motion under the action of conservative forces, then Hamiltonian principle tells us that the motion will happen such that it minimize Hamiltonian, which is given by this functional, where T is total kinetic energy of the system of particle, and V is total potential energy for this system. We can write the total kinetic energy as half m x1 dot square here. Our independent variable is time. It is time, and there are two dependent variable x1 and x2 and x2. They both are function of independent variable time. We want to find governing differential equation of x1 and x2. So, this is our total kinetic energy. Now, total potential energy for spring 1 is half k1 x1 square. Now, for spring 2, the total deformation is x1 minus x2. And for spring 3, this is the stored energy. So, we have to minimize this functional between time t1 and t2. Total kinetic energy minus total potential energy. So, this is a functional which is function of time t, which is the independent variable, function of x1 and x2. These are two dependent variable. So, we have to minimize a functional which is function of two dependent variable. If we see, so this is our Euler-Lagrange equation. So, for this problem we can write Euler-Lagrange equation for x1 So, here if you see, independent variable is t and this is x1 dot. So, for this functional, that del f del x1 from this term, then from this term del f del x 1 dot give us m x 1 dot which again we can write m x 1 double dot plus k 1 x 1 plus k 2 x 1 minus x 2 equal to 0. We can write k 1 plus k 2 x 1 minus k 2 x 2 equal to 0. So, this is our first governing differential equation. Now, we have second Euler-Lagrange equation for dependent variable x 2. We can write because of this minus. So, this minus and this minus get cancelled. So, there will be 1 2 will come. This will be k 1 x 2 again del f del x 2 dot will give us m x 2 dot equal to 0. So, finally, m x 2 double dot plus. So, for x 1 it will be minus k 2 x 1 plus k 1 plus k 2 x 2 equal to 0. So, this is so you can see after using Euler-Lagrange equation for two dependent variables separately, we get two coupled differential equation of x 1 and x 2. So, we have two dependent variable and we have two coupled differential equation. So, these are the governing differential equation for our dependent variable x 1 and x 2.